This is episode 76 of I Know What You Watched Last Week. And before we delve into the movies, award season is upon us. What's one that just happened? The Golden Globes.
Golden Globes.
Right? I've got to say, I love award shows because it recognises how amazing celebrities are. They keep us entertained and informed with their opinions and superior knowledge on current events.
Well,
so I love them.
I love the reactions when someone doesn't win and they couldn't be more overjoyed that someone else has won. Karen and John, you're both up for an award. Karen, I'm afraid to say John has won. Oh, my dreams have come true. Well done.
Yes. Toxic positivity.
You can be happy for someone, but my God, that's just so fake.
Few of my observations of the award season. Right, of course, Timothée Chalamet won Best Actor because, he's a great actor. There's nothing that he can't do, and I can't wait to see what he does next. Jessie Buckley, she won. She doesn't taint the craft of acting. I think she's just superb. And then we got Bella Ramsey, who, born a woman, changed into whatever she wanted to be. Now she's identifying as a wedding chair. A chair at a wedding.
With the pink sash.
If anyone's seen that. And also, your favourite, everyone's favourite, Mark Ruffalo. So he's been interviewed by Entertainment Tonight. And, he's got the knowledge on current events. So he blabs on for like 2.5 minutes. And the interviewer's like, Lets Mark Ruffalo finish and just says, I can't wait to see you in Spider-Man. He has been playing a blind bit of notice to what Mark Ruffalo's been saying about world current events, and that's on him. Because Mark Ruffalo's here to save the world. And when is he going to be cast as what will be his most iconic role, the role he was born to play, Cabbage Patch Kid?
If you don't know what that is, because I didn't.
Cabbage Patch Kid.
You can just look it up.
Yeah, so awards, aren't they amazing? Oh, actually, I've got the last thing to say. So actually, it's more of a question. So, I saw someone called Teyana something win an award.
Teyana Taylor.
Right. And that is for a Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
Right.
One with Leo in it. And it just shows how behind... My question will come in a bit. But it shows how behind Hollywood is, because Paul Thomas Anderson hasn't made a good movie since like 1999. He was so good that in 1997 he made Mark Wahlberg look like a half-decent actor. And no one's managed to do that since. He managed to do that. And yet only now are Hollywood are going to, probably anoint him with a golden statue. Anyway, back to Teyana. She wanted to dedicate her award to little brown people. And I just wondering, what constitutes a little brown person?
Are those the words that she
Little used? Brown people, yeah. And it's not the first time I've heard it in an award show. I remember like a few years ago when that crazy white woman was like, "This is for all little brown people out there." And everyone was like, "Oh, yes." So, little brown people. She just mean black children?
I don't know.
Because why doesn't she just say black children if that's what she means? Like, little brown people. She also said, little brown people belong in every single room. So if we're just relaxing, chucking back some popcorn, watching a movie, and it happens to be just a little brown person, don't be alarmed because it belongs there. So on that note, she's also a little bit late to the party because she said that she's opening doors for people that look like her to win awards, but someone clearly didn't tell her that the last 4 winners of the award that she won are, and I will put it in her terms, fully grown, mid-sized brown people.
Well, it's ironic that we opened up with your entertaining
on
summary.
That, though, I would just like to quickly say
for
that
fuck's sake.
I am dedicating this episode to little brown people.
I'm glad. Mm-hmm. Now can I...
Wherever you are, whoever you may be. I'm done.
Are you, though?
Award shows.
As I was trying to say, it's ironic that you've opened up about award shows and best actor, etc., because the acting in the 3 movies this week couldn't be more appalling.
Still better than Jessie Buckley and...
But funnily enough...
Chalamet.
And these 2 that I'm about to mention are not actually the worst performers by any means in the 3 movies. But we do have 2 Baywatch alums.
Baywatch alumni, yeah.
Including the Hoff.
Don't touch my pillow. Yeah, David Hasselhoff. And, we'd already watched one movie and there were no Baywatch alumni in that. But when I watched the second one, I was like, right, can I just find another Baywatch guy? And there he was.
There he was. So
It was almost a Baywatch special.
Without further ado, in the order we watched them before we go into rankings, we started the week with The Troll 2.
No, just Troll 2.
Okay,
Not
Troll 2.
Troll 2! Troll 2. From the man that brought us Battlefield Earth, the John Travolta Scientology war movie.
So if you didn't think that Troll needed a sequel, you were
Well,
right.
Troll 2 has nothing to do with Troll. I know you haven't seen Troll.
We then moved on to the David Charvet vehicle.
David Charvet.
Yeah. With Dawn of the Mummy.
Who's he in Baywatch again? Matt?
Matt
Brody, that's it, yeah. Love Matt Brody.
And finally, the Hoff himself. And also, Linda Blair.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
In a film called Witchcraft.
It's an amazing week. So, 3, 2, 1, tell me.
Am I starting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As I did last week, I have thought about this a fair amount, but unlike last week, I wasn't able to come up with a clear conclusion. Let's just say that none of these films are particularly great.
Untrue. Speak for yourself.
And depending on what you find entertaining, it's really going to
Can we just get on with the
influence
rankings?
Yes, I'm going to try. So I'm going to put third place. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry to Mr. Hoff, but Witchcraft, to me, was the least entertaining. Second place, I'm gonna go with Troll 2. So I guess Dawn of the Mummy gets the gold. I can't even take myself seriously. Mind you, I wouldn't have been able to say seriously any of them get the gold.
I'll let you know the correct order now. In third place, Dawn of the Mummy. Second place, Witchcraft. Number 1, Troll 2.
There was absolutely no doubt in my mind that you were going to put Troll 2 in first place.
Oh, it's the only correct answer.
It's not.
It's
It's
only
really not.
correct answer.
Troll 2 has the absolute worst performances I've probably ever seen.
Not true.
In a movie. That many in one movie.
You've seen Jessie Buckley in a movie. You've seen
a one-off bad actor in a movie I've seen many a time, but this one, it's like they went out of their way to try and find only actors who can't act.
and
it was...
God bless them for
I mean,
that.
okay, so...
There's entertainment and there's entertainment. And this was entertainment. So let's go, as per usual, in my order. We're going to start with bottom pick for me, Dawn of the Mummy, which you kept calling Curse of the Mummy or Return of the Mummy, whatever it was. And it would be remiss of me not to mention the title that I came across it. And it finally gives me the opportunity to do this. Prisoners of the Sun.
That's a much better title.
Yeah.
Way better.
Prisoners of the Sun, aka Dawn of the Mummy.
Way better. This movie is like a Sci-Fi Channel Indiana Jones.
No, it's not, because it cost 18 million. So the Sci-Fi Channel would never put $18 million into a film.
It didn't look it.
18
It
mil.
really didn't look it.
It did. It looks about $18.
Yeah. Like I said, Sci-Fi Channel Indiana Jones.
So if you didn't know, this is the one starring David Charvet, aka Matt Brody in Baywatch. And by the way, where's my Matt Brody pillow?
I've not come across one, I'm afraid. He doesn't have quite the same clout as Hasselhoff.
True, his head is not as big. Now, it's Pyramid City, baby. The sun god Ra is mentioned. Tutankhamun, maybe he's mentioned. Osiris could never return, right? There's a long opening, a lot of talk, and I'm already lost. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
100%. They're giving all this backstory about different gods. So obviously Ra's the sun god, who I think they're portraying as the good guy. And I believe, although I wasn't entirely sure, that they're portraying Osiris as an alien enemy god, right? But they've got this whole backstory with an old pharaoh or something, and you know, if you're within her bloodline, then you worship Osiris, but Ra comes and punishes everyone, and the Osiris followers are like frozen. And on top of this, if you weren't already confused as to who's the good guy and who's the bad guy and what's going on, there's also the mention of a mummy who's like a gatekeeper to stop the Osiris followers from coming back.
Right. I'm still confused. That, though, when we started watching this, I said, you're going to love this because it's about history. And lo and behold, you put it number 1. So I told you you'd love it because of that. And now we're introduced to the one and only John Rhys Davies as Masterson, a.k.a. Gimli in Lord of the Rings. John Rhys Davies here. And
apart from Gimli, does he ever not play an arsehole?
Was he an arsehole in this?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Of course he was.
Well, I felt like all of the...
Jonny was completely lost.
This was bland. There was no entertainment value to this film whatsoever. So I don't understand that you could have put it top. Zero
that's how I felt
entertainment
about
value.
Witchcraft.
How can you feel about zero entertainment value about Troll 2?
I didn't say that. I said Witchcraft was 0.
How does this have more entertainment value than Troll 2? Anyway,
Well,
you love history. John Rhys Davies is here. John Rhys Davies, you know, he's like thespian light, isn't he? You know, because he walks in and he's taking everything seriously like a Shakespeare.
But he's always an asshole.
There's just no need for that. And he's trading a stick. No, someone's trading a stick for an artifact, and they end up getting stabbed in the neck.
It turns out confusing.
It was John Rhys Davies' stick.
You are so silly. There's a different guy.
I don't understand history.
Who's the guy that I misnamed somewhere in the movie when I said he's such an idiot? Leslie, or
I know
was that
who you
the
mean.
wrong guy?
Yeah, it will be later on in my notes.
So the guy you've just been talking about, Rhys Davies.
John Rhys Davies, Gimli,
John Rhys Davies.
Masterson,
right. So
Yeah.
Masterson is the head of a dig, and they're trying to find the tomb of the female pharaoh who was the last worshipper of Osiris. And he's got David Charvet there as well.
We'll just call him David.
Doctor.
Levitz.
And
Levitz is the guy you didn't like.
right, okay. And David Charvet is working under an older guy who's like the lead archaeologist.
Professor Mandela.
Right? So those are like the main ones for now. So did you say who was I didn't like?
Levitz.
Levitz. Okay. So Levitz takes Masterson's cane
Stick. That's what they call it in
goes
this.
to a black market dealer
Shane Ritchie. The one and only Shane Ritchie.
with, I believe, dreadlocks, smoking on a shisha pipe.
It's a hippie Shane Ritchie.
It was ridiculous.
You don't really
what
know.
it was.
You don't really know who Shane Ritchie
I don't
is, do
need
you?
to know who Shane Ritchie is.
Shane Ritchie is he's played some character called Alfie Moon on and off for about 40 years in EastEnders.
Oh, dear.
So you know he's good.
EastEnders
Not only that,
Egyptian.
Shane Ritchie, not only is he Alfie Moon in EastEnders and a hippie dreadlocked guy in Prisoners of the Sun, he also released an album called A Little Bit of Country Soul.
No.
Where he covers his favourite country music. So imagine a guy in EastEnders releasing covers of his favourite country music. It hit number 42 in the UK chart, and then he was quickly dropped by his record label.
So anyway, he's a black market shisha pipe dealer, and he's got the key, which is needed to open the tomb beneath the tomb of the pharaoh to get to the Osiris people. Stay with me.
This is really boring.
And
I'm as bored as I was watching the movie.
Levitz offers to trade the cane for the key. So once the key is out, he gets the cane out. Turns out the cane has a hidden knife in it. So he knifes EastEnders bloke through the neck.
Shane Ritchie.
That's the end of Shane Ritchie.
Country music star.
Thankfully. He takes the key and...
What, you didn't like Shane Ritchie's performance?
And now he's buggered off with the key and the stick. Now the owner of the stick, Masterson, goes to the same place to try and buy the key. And he finds the dead body. And Levitz informs him that if Masterson doesn't let Levitz in on the whole tomb opening thing, that he is going to send the stick to the authorities and Masterson's going to get done for the murder.
This is only 5 minutes into the movie.
Are you as confused as we were?
I'm bored as well. So now that there's a sandstorm, and the sandstorm is the thing that uncovers this pyramid, right? Am I correct there?
Yeah.
Yeah, now there's a lady, and she comes to Jonathan Rhys-Davies and tells him it wasn't an accident and that he will complete his mission. That's very ominous.
Yeah, she sees the future or reads messages. She's a psychic, basically.
Right. I've mentioned how... So now the pyramid's uncovered, right?
Oh, and the entrance only opens once every 5,000 years or something like
Boring. So I've mentioned, right, how we've got thespian light. Jonathan Rhys-Davies is here, right, trying to give it gravitas.
Right.
Opposite him, we've got David Charvet from Baywatch. Mm-hmm. After this incredibly boring opening with Shane Ritchie, we now finally get John Rhys-Davies versus Charvet. And they're talking, and like John Rhys-Davies is like, 3 days! I shall be in the pyramid in 3 days! And David Charvet is like... And that's about the length of his acting chops there. So you can imagine what John Rhys-Davies is thinking. He's like, finally, I'll get to... there's joshing. There's a little bit of, respect, but mostly respect for the craft of acting between the two.
Okay.
We've always want to see John Rhys-Davies. I also noticed in this that so David Charvet would say he's almost the star of the thing because he's the good guy.
I guess.
Kind of.
He's the lead.
But the reason he hasn't gone on to do more movies, right, big budget movies, is his head's too small. His head's like a golf ball compared to everybody else's, and it just doesn't fill the screen. Look, he's a very handsome chap. There's no denying it. Incredibly handsome, but
I actually want to say he looks better now than he did in Baywatch.
What I loved,
but maybe that's just because I'm a bit older and I prefer slightly older men.
What I loved is that he was constantly like in sandstorms and stuff like this and bad weather and like in debilitating heat, but he was always salon fresh.
Yeah,
and his shirt was never dirty.
Well, like I said, he's like a hot Indiana Jones. Yeah,
Indiana Jones isn't hot.
I'm just
asking opinion. Okay, right.
Anyway, so
David Charvet is Indiana Jones.
Back to what's happening in this. I mean, we've just seen it, really, haven't we? David
Charvet, by the way, he also, Charvet, he's French, speaks French. He's released multi-platinum singing albums in French. Would you like to hear that?
No. Now, can we get back to what's happening in the movie?
I'm just saying he's multi-talented. Slightly. Well, you've already said too much. It's like so boring. I'll say.
Well, no, it's important. Okay, so the lead archaeologist, he's out for the count now. He's had a heart attack or something.
Professor Mandela.
So Charvet's taking over to no one's
happy about that.
No one's happy about that. Masterton, now that they've found the entrance to the tomb, he calls his daughter because he needs her. And they're all going to meet up. So now, do you want to go into the introduction of the daughter because she seemed like a right piece of work?
It took me half the movie to even realise that it was his daughter. I must have just missed it in dialogue because he didn't treat it very nice, did he?
Well, no.
No, but anyway, is this all happening when Jonathan Rhys-Davies is in the belly dancing club? Everyone's belly dancing. In comes John Rhys-Davies, giving it gravitas, and he sits down and he's told by Levitts that in the pyramid there are riches beyond belief.
Well, he already
knows
that. And
then Levitts threatens John Rhys-Davies with the walking stick evidence.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? And he's blackmailing him. Mm-hmm. And he says, I'll send your stick to the authorities. It's already on its way.
Yeah.
Because I made a phone call. And then so John Rhys-Davies kind of relents and lets Levitts come on the dig or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Levitts is like, halt the delivery. So just mid-delivery, the stick just being stopped from being sent to the authorities. I liked that.
You're so silly.
He's like, John Rhys-Davies is like, bring the key and my stick tomorrow, and you can come.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is true. No, I think that's...
And then he's met with not quite as enthusiastic acting back.
Yes.
Then I've got Charvet saves Bathtub Man. What's that? I don't remember.
You're going back now. I thought you wanted to get through this because
I
briefly mentioned all of this, that Levitts can come because he brings the key and he's threatening him. Probably because you never listened to me.
Sarah's here now, the daughter. That's what we were saying. And her mum is dead. Her mum's dead.
Yes. Yes, she is.
Who killed her? John Rhys Davies.
Yes, but we haven't found that out yet. We don't know that yet at all. No, the first time we see
But you worked it out straight away. We were like 12 minutes into the movie, like John Rhys Davies has killed her mum. So you ruined the movie for me. Maybe that's why I was so bored.
Yeah, that was what ruined it completely. No, but the first time we see her, I believe, is when all of the crew who are going to be going into the tomb are supposed to be meeting up for like a briefing or whatever.
Is this when
and she calls David? Remember, she calls Charvet.
Right, let's call him David Charvet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
She calls David Charvet.
Mm-hmm.
He sees her. They're in the same building, and she's being an absolute cow to him. Do you remember?
Yeah. I remember she wasn't a very sympathetic character.
No, so he's informed her that, you know, the head archaeologist, the head honcho guy, is in hospital, so he's going to take over. And she's like, oh, but you're not an expert.
So she says to David Charvet, you're not an expert, and then brings him into the group, and everyone's already kind of like having a go at him, except for Rohit. We love Rohit.
I love Rohit.
Right?
Yeah, one of the crew who's going into the tomb.
When like John Rhys Davies then like makes a snide remark to David Charvet, then Sarah sticks up for him.
Yeah, but okay, actually you've just reminded me, because so she calls David Charvet. She's an absolute cow to him. She calls him again within a second. She's like, I'm sorry, I realised I was a bit rude earlier.
So she's a bit schizophrenic, isn't she?
And then she keeps being like a bitch and then being like, oh, sorry. So yeah, I did not like her at all.
Why do Hollywood think we're gonna, you know...
But David Charvet apparently looks past that. He's like,
Yeah, it must have been incredibly disappointing for David Charvet because, you know, he's been around, you know, C.J. Parker and Summer Quinn and, you know, Elizabeth Berkley. And now here he is with not quite as hot toddy. It must be hard for him to act attracted after being around such beautiful women all the time.
Also, I feel like we can
At least he can go to work without a boner for once. That must have been nice.
Yeah, Baywatch must have been hard. Anyway.
Oh yeah, it was hard.
You are so silly.
That's what she said.
Are we kind of skipping forward now to when they finally enter the pyramid?
No,
because...
what I wanted to mention that right, Sarah's here now, right?
Yeah, I think we've covered that.
Her mum is dead,
now.
and she says before we go to the dig, I insist on going to visit my mother's grave.
Yes,
and we have the Sarah speech. Hey, Mum, I'm here.
Oh, God.
Mum, it's me.
How could I forget that?
Yes, that's why I'm here, to remind you.
Oh, she said... Oh, that was awful. That was so cringy.
Was it?
It was so bad. Yeah.
Mama, I'm here speech in very hushed,
it was unimportant,
hushed tones.
But yeah, terrible.
Yeah, and she was like, you'd call me little princess. I liked
it. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, oh, she loved it.
And she tells David Charvet...
I'll find out what happened to you.
Tells David Charvet that she went out on her own to like visit the temples, and then the police say that she was mugged, and David's like, you don't believe that? And she goes, no, I think my mother was much too put together for that.
Right.
So,
let's see if we already covered any of this, because my notes are long and you've waffled on for a bit.
To
Charvet is in a hotel for a conference.
Yes, mentioned it.
Professor Mandela's missing.
Yes, I mentioned
Summoned to villa by woman. Walks around the corner, sorry for being short on the phone. Yes, we have just said it. Belittles Charvet. Yeah? What are you? You'll never know, is what he says to her. You'll never know. Ooh. Now there's a secret man who's Levitz. Levitz shows up at this point, right?
Secret man.
Yeah, so as we mentioned, Charvet is Professor Mandela's protege. Do you believe, right? I believe David Charvet as a lifeguard. Did you believe him as a scientist?
An archaeologist.
Archaeologist, yeah, same thing, yeah.
Same thing.
Same thing. Ist. He's a scholar.
I mean, the thing
David
is...
David Charvet, the scholar.
There was quite a large group of supposed necessary people that all were supposedly experts in their own field, except for Levitz, who's there just because he's, threatened him. But they didn't really go into what any of them were good at. The only one who gets to show any of his skill is Rohir.
Yeah, and I was thinking as well, David Charvet speaks at least 2 languages, playing an archaeologist, but if he is a brainiac in real life, it wasn't shown in his performance for me. Like I said, John Rhys Davies, I'm talking to you, David Charvet.
You can't blame him just because he's pretty.
You can't just keep getting away with pouting This isn't Baywatch anymore. This is an $18 million movie about archaeologists
You wouldn't say that
uncovering
if it was
the
Pamela
sun
Anderson.
god Ra. Yeah, but she has chops. Serious chops. Now, Professor Rohit, our favourite, is here. He is a professor from India. Beardman Levitz, Secret Suit Man. Girl, yeah, I've mentioned the girl set up for Charvet, right? Other two women. Is it now? What about right? I've mentioned the salon fresh hair that David Charvet is constantly.
You have mentioned that, yeah.
And he's also got just 3 days stubble because that's sexy. They've constantly kept it at 3 days stubble.
Sexy, yeah.
It didn't grow out. It just stayed as it was. Is this because he's like still kind of like, I don't want to say man-child, that's like an insult, but I mean he's youthful, isn't he? But I'm not sure he could grow a full-on beard anyway. Where's my David Charvet pillow? So what's the next bit you've got? Oh, Zaid's here. Remember Zaid? There are too many people, useless people in this film. But Zaid's a local.
Okay, yeah.
So at least he's useful.
We've got someone representation from the Egyptian government because, you know, they're doing archaeology stuff, so someone needs to be there.
Is this the part when they're all standing outside and David Charvet is marvelling at the pyramid?
I don't know. I can't recall.
He's just got his hands on his hips, looking up at something, and I was like, "Oh, he's definitely marveling at the pyramid." So he sold that for me.
Right. Well, we've got the experts, we've got the government official, and his two. I don't know.
Whoever. There's a tomb of a princess in the pyramid.
Yes, I think we've mentioned that, Jonny.
Right. Christ being crucified, it was already under the sands. Before Christ was crucified, she was already there.
Yes.
Amazing. Also, David Charvet now has like a heart-to-heart, I think, with Sarah. And she is doing nothing but just devouring him with her eyes. She can't take her eyes off him, and who can blame her?
Yeah, I don't know. I did find it weird, though. So, we've mentioned the psychic woman. Mm-hmm. Who
Did she come back?
She's in there with them.
I didn't know that.
You should not be saying anything about this film, Jonny.
Amazing.
She's with them.
Right.
Which I found really weird.
I just thought she was like a vision for people. Because, you know, most psychic people are just like not really there.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad. Now I know that. Now I know. Yeah. No, she's in there with them, which I was like, that's really bizarre.
That is weird. That's what I'm saying. She was there?
Yes, she was
there. Because I was so bored for this movie that I wasn't even paying attention as to who was in there anymore. I was just marvelling at David Charvet's handsomeness. Boyish good looks.
So we're in the pyramid. They're knocking everything down. And of course, there are booby traps.
Yeah, actually, wait, what was that? I mean, what the hell were they doing? They're going into a pyramid which hasn't been open for 5,000 years and just like smashing through walls. That's not careful.
No, but there's not supposed to be. I can't believe you even asked me at the beginning of this if Masterton was supposed to be a good guy or not.
Charvet.
It's so obvious he was supposed to be bad.
David Charvet, right? Now he's got some line delivery because he can translate Egyptian or hieroglyphics. Mm-hmm. And he says like,
he's an archaeologist.
None may enter this tomb and return alive. Only the ones chosen by God will endure. I believe that he translated that.
Yeah.
Also, I said about his small head.
Yeah.
He's also got quite a boyish voice. You know, it's not like a manly voice. So maybe that's why when John Rhys Davies is like 3 days, I shall be in the pyramid in 3 days, he just decides not to say anything back, and he'll just looks at him because he knows that he can't compete with the diction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. By the way, when Charvet has translated all the Egyptian stuff,
yes,
Zaid, the local, he confirms that what he said is correct. And that's what makes David Charvet legit then in everyone else's eyes. Like, he's not just a pretty face anymore. Okay. Now we can truly believe in him.
Okay, great. So, as I was saying, they're inside the tomb. And yes, they're smashing down old things because Marston doesn't care about the history of the tomb. He wants to get to the god and be rewarded for releasing them. Remember? Yeah. But they've got a lot of booby traps to get through. And this is where Rohir does his thing. But it turns out Rohir's not so smart. He gets the pattern wrong because Charvet has to school him, being like, oh, did you do this from the decimal point? They didn't have that in Egyptian times. but then it's one forward, two left, one forward, two left, one forward.
It's actually one forward, two
left.
right. So you take one step forward, two to the right, one step forward, two to the right. So you're gonna just. This isn't it's a pretty narrow place.
It's narrow.
You'll
and
just
long.
be dragging
You'll
yourself against the wall eventually. You can't step right anymore.
This is the beginning of the absolute idiocy in this film.
So wait, is that bit before the killer hornets come?
Yeah.
Right.
That's just before.
Okay. And that's what reveals the killer hornets then, this trap thing that they walk through.
I think so.
Okay.
Well, either way, they're both booby traps. So various booby traps. Yeah, there's a whole cavern just with hornets' nests.
Yeah, some idiot tries to play the hero, just walks into the
One of
hornet's
the
nest.
Egyptians, I believe.
Like, swiping them away. He ends up dying.
Yeah.
One of the other ones tries to, like, flamethrower. I didn't know they had a flamethrower.
Flamethrower.
So one of them tries to flamethrower all this hornet infestation. I think, do they both die or just the one guy?
Just the one guy.
So the one guy
far.
dies. He's been, like, decimated by hornets. It's like his face is off. The group see this and it's like, oh, let's just carry on. It's just completely calm.
Well, I do believe
they're just in shock.
that they are already locked in by this point.
Yeah, they mentioned straight after that they're locked in, yeah.
And their only option is to go forward. And
now Levitz has been the idiot because he moves an artifact.
Levitz, yeah. I think Charvet is saying something at the same time. He's like, oh yeah, people who couldn't resist the gold, as Levitz picks up a gold statue. And what does this do? Of course, it sets off another booby trap.
And a stone crushes someone.
Yeah.
Dead.
Yeah.
They're dead. The room is now armed, says John Rhys Davies. Don't move. John Rhys Davies then says, yeah, they're sealed in. And no, now it's one forward, two right.
Oh, okay.
One forward, two right. They walk along the booby trap. Now, David Charvet is dusting, right? He's dusting.
Oh, yeah.
And the mummy is finally coming to life. Because I'm like, this is called Dawn of the Mummy if it's not called Prisoners of the Sun. Yeah. Where's the mummy? It took ages for the mummy to get here.
But also...
Well, he watched this for a mummy.
He was dusting what looked like a sarcophagus.
Yeah.
Like, it was a face and everything. And he's dusting it. And it makes it look like the mummy is inside of it. And him, like, faffing with it is waking the mummy up. Turns out the mummy's not at all inside that sarcophagus. Because, again, they're all standing. They're like, now what? And he goes, oh, well, I think we should open the tomb. So,
as you can tell from our recollection of this movie so far, mostly Karen's recollection of this movie, nothing happens at the beginning. Nothing happens before they enter the tomb. Finally enter the tomb, stuff does start to happen, but we're already like more than halfway through the film and there's no mummy yet until now. Just like a brief glimpse yet. This isn't Jaws, this isn't Hellraiser. This is Dawn of the Mummy. Just show us the mummy straight away.
Well, also, I was, for most of this film, wondering how this was classed as a horror.
Well, people just use the word horror to sell their movie, like I said many a time.
I suppose once we do finally... Because I thought at this point, oh, finally the mummy's in it, but no, the mummy is not in it yet.
On a scale of 1 to 1,000, though, at this point, how happy were you to finally see a glimpse of a mummy?
500.
I was going to say 500 because I was happy to see a mummy, but the mummy was a bit underwhelming at this point.
Also, we don't even see it. We just kind of see... Anyway.
There's a lot of dust over it.
So they go into the tomb bit, and then Masterson says to Levitz, oh, you idiot, you go last because you've already killed someone.
Levitz doesn't take kindly to that.
And Levitz stands there, lets like 3 people go, and then decides, actually, no, I'm not having this. And he starts rushing towards the front. You can't talk to me like... And what happens? He sets off another booby trap.
Yeah.
So now everyone's separated.
We need to just... Yeah, everyone kind of separated. They're separated into 2 groups. There's 2 groups.
They're partitioned.
Down. I feel like you're not explaining too well the booby traps, especially the 1 forward, 2 right, 1 forward, 2 right bit.
I didn't think it was that important.
One of the most important parts of the movie, but we've already gone past that now. Anyway... Well, now it's at this part we now find out that Sarah's mum was in fact killed by John Rhys Davies, right? Mm-hmm. And now we get an immortal line, the sleeper shall awaken. They keep saying this, they're referring to the mummy god lady in there. Rhys Davies is delivering like he's auditioning for Shakespeare, as mentioned. Now the tomb is revealed, and John Rhys Davies just chucks the corpse on the floor.
She was
and
a
says,
whore!
This mummy was a whore! Yeah, mummy whore. Then there's mention of Hitler. Hitler was in the tomb, apparently, right? Or Hitler wanted the powers of this mummy. Because I said you love history, so I've now mentioned Hitler. Not just Egyptians, Hitler. So now Levitz cracks. The posse is separated by a falling stone door. Rohit is alone, and he ends up being pushed down a shaft with Zaid and someone else. One of them dies, not Rohit or Zaid, but just the no-face person dies down there. right? And now they find multiple victims of the sun in like a mass grave. They're just like loads of mummified
These are the
beings.
Osiris beings.
And Rohit says, they're not human. They're not human. Right, now, where's this bloody mummy? Because we've seen a glimpse of the mummy. Now we've like gone on like another 20 minutes in the movie and the mummy hasn't come back. So I'm like, where is this bloody mummy?
Here's the mummy.
There's only 20 minutes of the movie left.
Mummy's right here.
Only 20 minutes left. Finally,
It's right here.
$18 million budget, right? We finally see the mummy, and I feel like they spent $18 on the mummy.
This is so the scene looks like a sort of terracotta army style because all these Osiris bra things.
I'm kind of done with this film because now we get just lots of running around. The two groups just running around the tomb. I just film them running around while nothing happens. Just have them run here, run there, run and look like you're in some kind of danger, even though we've had 2 glimpses of this mummy.
Okay, so
right?
they managed to get through the chamber.
John Rhys Davies then slaps his own daughter.
That was before, but yes.
No, I'm getting ahead now. I've had enough of this, right? And she says, "You'll kill me just like you killed my mother." Mm-hmm. So she's actually given Rhys Davies a little back of the thespianish at this point. She shouldn't have bothered. Yeah. Sarah now walks through membrane and is told, "You are the key." There's membrane in front of this of this mummy.
Yeah, because she is a descendant.
Now we've already had Shane Ritchie.
Of the pharaoh
We've had
woman.
Shane Ritchie. We've had David Charvet. Now we've got Nick Moran, great actor, great British actor. He pushes Sarah into the throne, right, at John Rhys Davies' will. And then John Rhys Davies sits in a throne. And then we get some kind of like pyramid light show.
Oh, wait. We completely forgot as well at the beginning when they were showing the backstory and all of this, and they were showing the city, the Egyptian city,
yeah.
which, you know, predates the Romans and predates
And
all
Jesus
of this.
Christ.
It was like those super budget documentaries you get on the History Channel where everything it's like worse graphics than a computer game. Atrocious. And yes, now we've got the same light pyramid thing, which is supposedly opening the portal to get Osiris back in power.
Right, so that's what's happening. So it turns out, Sarah is a direct descendant of the dead mummy, right?
Yeah.
And at this point, Nick Moran goes to shoot David Charvet, but for some reason Rohit sacrifices himself and dies
My favourite.
for David Charvet.
Yeah, but as he lies dying, he says, "Only you can stop it now." So why? Why would he be the only one?
After this light show, all those mummies, the multiple mummies in the mass grave, they rise from the dead. And now the puzzle box top of the pyramid opens. Right, that was some good graphics.
Well, they're kind of rising. They don't quite get there.
And it shoots a laser into the sky.
Laser.
And someone says, "Behold the sun!" Right, because it's prisoners of the sun. Sarah shoots John Rhys Davies dead, collapses, everyone's alive, and Mandela is here now. Even Mandela's here now. I thought he was like dying.
As they come out of the dilapidating...
Yeah, the falling pyramid. And of course, David Charvet walks out with Sarah. Now he's finally dusty, but his hair is still salon fresh. And he says, like, the immortal line, "You were pretty great back there." And she's like, "You were pretty great yourself." And then they have a dusty kiss.
They didn't really do anything, either of them.
And now they say that they're out there waiting to return. And a giant CGI hornet comes out. Thin.
Right.
Absolutely nothing happens in this film. Where's the mummy at? Right? Absolutely nothing. Lifeguard versus archaeologist. I already told you this. What do you like him better as?
Archaeologist.
I wasn't expecting that answer. I was a lifeguard for a little while. Would you believe me as an archaeologist as well?
No.
I'm pretty sure I can act better than David Charvet. Okay, my hair may not be salon fresh, but it could be. Right, and what's better? Like I said, what is better? What's more interesting than a lifeguard or an archaeologist?
Well, to me, definitely an archaeologist.
Right, I'm gonna say lifeguard. Yeah. So
what's interesting about a lifeguard?
Scale of 1 to 1,000. Right, you're given 500 for a mummy, but scale of 1 to 1,000. How happy would you see David Charvet's name come up?
1,000 scale here?
David Charvet's name come up at the opening credits.
I was actually quite happy. I was intrigued.
Great, yeah.
I was like, oh, I've never seen him in anything except for Baywatch. So let's have a gander. And you also told me
1 to 1,000.
Actually, I don't think it was even David Charvet we were talking about. The another Baywatch guy, the blonde one who's a swimmer in Baywatch. You told me that
Cody.
Cody,
Yeah.
you told me he'd kept it tight as well.
Yeah, he's
so I'd
looking
like to
good.
see him.
He can't get any work.
I'd like to see him.
But he can't get any work.
Preferably with shirt off. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Archaeologist
I only
without
want to see
shirt.
Cody. Are you just weird with a shirt on? It's like, it's jarring. Why has Cody got a shirt on? Take
And
it
he put
off.
so much effort into that torso.
He has put a lot of effort
He
into this.
should
Much
show
like
it off.
the Hoff. You know, what lady can resist that? So, you haven't said, scale of 1 to 1,000, how happy would you see David Charvet's name come up before we started watching
800.
it? What is going on? Because I've got 800 as well. I'm super intrigued to see David Charvet in a movie, and I want to see more. Do you want to see more?
Yeah.
Right, we're going to
I
hunt
do.
out David Charvet's filmography. Talking of Baywatch filmography, moving on from David Charvet, aka Matt Brody, we now have number 2 pick for me, Witchcraft, starring the one and only David Hasselhoff, Germany's favourite son. He brought down the Berlin Wall, let's not forget that. Also, much like David Charvet, he's also a musician. He's gone like multi-platinum in Germany. They love him over there.
Well, my people are weird.
Yeah.
They love a lot of weird shit.
On a scale of 1 to 1,000, how happy were you to see the name David Hasselhoff come up after Linda Blair's in the opening credits?
Okay, before I answer that one again, I never thought I'd see a movie with Linda Blair and David Hasselhoff.
Well,
What a combo.
It doesn't stop there. What sold me on this movie was Linda Blair, David Hasselhoff, directed by an Italian in a horror. You can't go wrong, really, can you?
Well, you can, because
No.
I thought this movie sucked.
Not as much as Prisoners of the Sun.
I was more entertained by that one than this. So I'd say I was 700.
Oh, less than Charvet.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. Let's go.
Charvet was more of a surprise, somehow.
Surprised by
Yeah.
Charvet, not so much by the Hoff.
Yeah.
Would you have liked to have seen David Hasselhoff's one-man show of Jekyll and Hyde? I would have. Apparently it's on DVD, so we can get it somewhere. We'll get that later, because that's also a horror. So, this movie opens... Before I get into that, actually, I said this is directed by an Italian, right?
Yeah.
I've forgotten what his name is. But we watched a movie quite some time ago about an axe killer. And it's directed by an Italian. For some reason, he changed his name to, like, Peter Burgundy for the movie. And this Italian director did exactly the same thing for this. It said directed by, Neil Smalls. I was like, no, that's not who directed this. Why did these Italians keep changing their names back in the day?
It's really weird.
Yeah. So at the beginning of this, there's a woman. She's being chased by a posse. She comes to a house.
They all look like they're about 17, by the way.
Yeah. She ends up running through this house. And she throws herself out of a window, which awakens Linda Blair from her nightmare. Now we see David Hasselhoff with a woman, of course, because women can't and shouldn't be able to resist the Hoff, especially in 1988, the year that he would have gone into Baywatch, right? So, because the ladies can't stay away from him. Linda Blair, she's now, just get through it a little bit because there's just a lot of like images, right? Linda Blair is now walking down the road, and there's this lady in black who shines a shiny pin in her face, and all of a sudden Linda Blair is stuck in some red.
Was that so early on?
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
the
that was way
first.
further
That's the
in.
first time it happens.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great effects.
Long may it continue.
We see a lot of it, and it gets better and better as it goes on.
Yeah.
I love that you can see the moment the actors were like, right, act like you're falling through some otherworldly shaft,
Yeah.
and we're going to put some
Shaft.
effects on it. So the actor is just standing in a blank room going, ah! Oh.
You know who would be good for that? David Charvet, because there's an episode of Baywatch where he's like doing sky skiing or whatever, and they just got him in front of a screen going while he's falling through the sky.
Oh, I'm pretty sure the Hoff does the same.
So yeah, Hoff does do the same.
But they didn't have Hoff falling through anything, did they?
They've
So-
missed a trick there. Missed a
Damn.
trick there. So now, right, once Linda Blair, by the way, has the pin shined in her face by the lady in black,
Yeah.
an entire like building site almost falls on her. So we know it's ominous.
An entire one metal bar falls off
Girder.
this thing.
Yeah.
Not an entire building site.
At this point, we're back to David Hasselhoff now. David Hasselhoff is like, seems he's staying in an apartment in the house or in a separate building.
So, I think we should start a little bit fresh here. So the Hoff and the woman he's with,
Leslie.
my God, she was annoying.
Frigid Leslie.
So Hoff and Leslie are on an island in the building, which was the building that the pregnant witch, threw herself out the window from.
Right.
Right? With me? So this is actually private property. They're not allowed to be there, but Leslie is writing a book or something on what happened.
That's it, yeah. She's into the occult almost, but not really. Yeah, she's more just like...
It's not really fleshed out. It's just they have to be there. So
while all that is being, exposed to us, because Leslie's reading a book on the occult, it's then brought up by David Hasselhoff that it's no good for a woman of your age to be a virgin. It's weird. It's strange, he tells her. He's like, come on, it's weird for you to be a virgin. Why are you
Give it up.
Why are you a virgin?
Give it to me. I was really confused as to what the hell this relationship was, because he clearly wants sex. She's clearly said, like, not anytime soon. So why are they even still together?
It's unrealistic, because she wouldn't be a virgin for more than 30 seconds being around this, would she? No woman would. Karen got me this for Halloween, by the way, this year.
Smashed me in the face with it, yeah.
This is my pillow.
Yeah. You insisted on it, so...
It's double-sided, so you can't escape it. And
also, this Leslie, did you not find...
I still want to talk about a pillow.
I found Leslie was really hard to understand. She mumbled everything.
Maybe that's a side effect of being a really old virgin.
There was something about her attitude that really aggravated me.
Being frigid in front of the Hoff.
It wasn't the frigidness. It was her. It was just like she just seemed like she was half asleep and mumbling all the time and just never happy. I was like, she's miserable.
She needs one upper, doesn't she? That would cheer her up.
Ugh.
Cheers most women up. Anyway, now that we've got the Hoff and Leslie's relationship down, right? He wants it. She's not willing to give it up. He's also a photographer, by the way.
That's why, she asked him to come along to take photos for her book.
Yeah, and so we move on a little bit. There's a guy called John, and not Linda Blair. I'm going to call her Blonde Linda. Her character's name's Linda. So we've got John and Blonde Linda in an apartment. Linda, I believe, has an interview with the Brooks couple.
Is Linda the architect?
The slag.
The slut one, yeah. Okay.
Right, so she's got an interview with the Brooks, this couple, this older couple, who seem to have a very young child. Little Timmy or Tommy.
Which is Linda Blair's brother.
So Linda Blair is the
Linda
Brooks'
Blair's pregnant.
daughter.
She's definitely an adult. And then you've got the little child.
But the Brooks must have conceived their newest child at like 70 years old.
Yeah.
Which is strange.
So the reason these stories tie together is because the Brooks want to buy the island
house
and what's on it to turn it into something, hotel or whatever. And their architect has broken his leg, so that's why they're doing Blonde Linda is like, oh, you come along instead because we're on a time crunch.
And once she finishes this phone call, Blonde Linda puts the phone down and John's like, oh, so I can't tell what you enjoy more, work or sex. And then she like puts her bare foot in his face and goes, I think you know what I like most. It's sex. She loves sex. Anyway, now it's the next scene. Leslie is in bed. David Hasselhoff's like, right, she's a virgin. What can I do? I'm going to take my top off. So the Hoff strips down, jumps on the bed. He's like, hey, how about I get underneath the covers with you? And she's like, no, you go and sleep on the cot on the floor in a sleeping bag. So he does. He's like, he's hurt. He's got his nipples out.
This I thought was a bit harsh as well. Like, if I just don't understand
and
how
unrealistic.
This is a relationship. Again, I'm not even saying that she shouldn't be a virgin. If that's
unrealistic.
What she wants to do, that's fine. But why are you in a relationship when you clearly both want different things? And secondly, sharing a bed so that Hoff doesn't have to sleep on the floor doesn't mean you have to have sex.
Very true. She's a demanding shrew. Yeah. So now I've written Lady in Black is rocking a baby back and forth in an empty house. Leslie is there. Mr. and Mrs. Brooks are going to buy the house. Meanwhile, Hoff is in the adjacent property, or the property next to whatever, taking photos outside. And all of a sudden, the giant light that came from the Lady in Black's pin, which shone on Linda Blair, kind of like lets itself be known in the distance, David Hasselhoff takes a photograph of it, and they don't really like make much of it.
Nope.
No, I thought that was a bit weird. I saw some giant lights.
Well,
in the sky.
I feel like this film was just really quite bad, to be honest. There were so many things that weren't fleshed out, and it dragged, and then it didn't really even make sense. At
Prisoners of the Sun dragged. Where's the mummy?
You also haven't mentioned
the witch is in this right away.
So it's the Brooks family, the two old people, Linda Blair, the little kid, Leslie the architect, the blonde one, Linda, blonde Linda, and
Leslie the virgin,
and the son of the main estate agent,
Jerry,
who's shown
Jerry the estate agent, right?
And they've hitched a lift from some local fisherman, but the fisherman gets offed by old lady in black.
He does, not quite yet, but when they're taking a photograph of this witch's light, it's like Leslie knows what it is. David Hasselhoff knows what it is, because they literally say, oh, it's the witch's light. I've just managed to take a photograph of it. And then they're like, oh, what should we do now?
Yeah.
It's like you've just taken a photo of the witch's light. It should mean something. So anyway, Linda meets the Brooks, right, on the island. Like I said, they've been brought there by a boatman. But when they get into the house, they're kind of looking around. But Linda Blair begins to struggle in the house. Pregnant Linda Blair's kind of struggling. So the little kid, Linda Blair's brother, goes investigating, and he bumps into, would you believe it, the woman in black is hanging around there.
Yeah.
And it's at this point, he just mentioned, where the woman in black now shines her pin at the skipper.
Yeah.
And then
And then
he's in the red.
his green screen moment.
Yeah, I love those red bits.
And then you see the fishing boat is just adrift with him hung in the netting. So they're now stranded on the island.
It's also, so Jerry is, again, we're not quite stranded yet, because estate agent Jerry, walking them through the house, he's not keeping the lady in black a secret. It's just like he's openly talking about her, saying, telling the Brooks about her. Stuff like this. Jerry's just like blabbing. And it's at this point that Linda Blair is attacked by a bathtub.
Yeah. Yeah, she pulls out her pills, drops the pills fall in the tub with some dirty brown water in it.
It's always dirty brown water in it.
So she decides to, of course, root around in the dirty brown. And lo and behold, she gets sucked into the dirty brown, full body, and
then
going down the red tunnel.
She's in the red green screen. Like, that happens, and where she gets sucked down into like this other realm.
Yeah.
And she starts walking around, and
this confused the hell out of me.
Through some chicken wire and wood contraption.
Yeah. She
sees a hag, and what would a male hag be called? Anyways, a hag and a male hag, and they're eating a baby. They're eating a baby.
This baby was so fake. It was so fake.
What?
They were
it's
like
Linda Blair's
they were like
baby.
Playing tug and war with it.
Yeah.
And then they go up and they're like, and then they wave at her with a fake little baby hand.
See,
and
you just
Woman
done that
in Black
there.
loves it.
I thought it was a more subtle performance from the hag and the man.
I didn't think so.
So now they're playing. Like I said,
I didn't think there
they're
was
playing
anything
tug of
subtle.
war with this weird-looking baby, Linda Blair's baby, and then they end up eating it, and then the woman in black is there laughing.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, my pets."
Now Linda Blair wakes up, right? Because that's another dream.
What was the point of this?
The Brooks, blonde Linda, and estate agent Jerry find her, right? The Hoff and Leslie now see all this group of people leaving, but they can't leave because, unbeknownst to them, the lady in black has shined her pin, her shiny pin onto the skipper, so there's no boat. Also, not only does she shine the pin on the skipper, she then magically has him tied up to the raft of the boat.
I said that, yeah. He's hanging in the netting.
And then the boat just leaves by itself with him.
Yeah, it's adrift.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Hoff and the Leslie, they see them all leave. The boat's gone. So what do? Oh, let's go back into the house, because what else can they do apart from go back into the house? And they spot the woman in black up at the window. But the little boy mentions it, and every time he mentions it, she kind of like gets chastised by his parents. Like, stop talking about the woman in black. Stop mentioning it. Tommy then... Oh no, when they go back into the house, all of a sudden the Hoff is there. How did the Hoff get into the house in like mere seconds? And Jerry's like, what the hell are you doing here? He's like, I'm just a photographer. and I wanted to just take a look
Jerry's
around.
pissed off because, like I said, it's private property and they've not been given permission. But it seems to be, they get over that pretty quickly.
Also, Linda Blair's, she's missing her pills. So Tommy is now, little Tommy, he's found her pills.
Well, the woman in black gave them to him.
Yeah, when he goes to see her. And it's at this point when I just mentioned it, he then says, I found the pills, I got them from the lady in black. And he's told off again for mentioning the lady in black by her mum. So they decide that they might have to stay the night. And this really turns on blonde Linda, who's in a relationship, I mentioned, with John.
Oh, well, you don't know if they're in a relationship. Could just be like some guy she calls up when she's horny.
You had to glean the subtext. They're in a relationship. So he's not been very happy about her leaving. She's just sitting there to Jerry. She's like, I hope we get to spend the night. Jerry's like, ho, 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 ho.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a slag. What about poor old John at home? She'd only been gone 5 minutes.
Well, I don't think they were in a relationship.
Turns out she really does love sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, John said it out loud.
Yes, she does.
Now Miss Brooks is pulled into a safe. There's a safe in the wall.
Oh, yeah, she's pulled in very much like Linda Blair was pulled into the tub.
Ends up being pulled down it, yeah.
What I did like about this bit, actually, is that when she's struggling to, stop herself from being sucked in, she's got fake nails on and they kind of, do that thing when they come away. And that...
When she's getting pulled down the safe shaft, of course, she's in the... she's now getting her turn to do the red arm wavy thing. Would you like to do that?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Extra? Yeah, so now she's trapped in the red like Linda earlier. It's like me in a nutshell. That's what it reminded me of. Linda Blair is now asking Leslie about an old German text of a woman accused of witchcraft.
Okay, yeah, I forgot. That was a whole other thing. It's all like the witch is German for some reason.
Of course, because Germans are evil.
And little boy Tommy, did you say he was called? He's got like a recording play device, like a little toy thing.
I just thought you were going to say he has a speech impediment.
And no, I wasn't going to say that. And he puts the recording device outside of the door that the old lady in black is in as she's saying some incantation in German.
Right. Not long after this, David Hasselhoff finds an unplugged film reel.
But we were talking about Mrs. Brooks going down the red.
Yeah, but we come back to her.
Oh, do we?
Yeah,
Okay.
it goes to another scene where David Hasselhoff finds an unplugged film reel, decides to play it, and it's like a bunch of just gnarly black and white images of a woman walking around and stuff. It's The Ring. It's The Ring. The Ring guys have definitely watched Witchcraft and gone, right, we need to make our own freaky black and white video. So my question to you is...
I think you're giving it a lot of credit because I didn't find it gnarly at all. I think they were just playing what we saw at the beginning of the woman running and throwing herself out the window.
It's
in
reminiscent of The Ring.
That's
so
all
my
they were doing.
question to you is David Hasselhoff responsible for The Ring?
No.
Well, I beg to differ. Right. So now we can go back to Mrs. Brooks, who's fallen down the shaft and gone into the red. She's now being held captive by the woman in black in this lair. Mm-hmm. And the hag is sewing her mouth shut. Her rubber lips.
I think this might actually be the worst makeup effects I've ever seen.
No.
Ever seen. They're suggesting that one of the hag people is doing that, but yeah, it looks like her lips are doing this and they do not move in the slightest, and the person's only holding it here, and then you can tell they're trying to make it really gory because when the pin is needle, that's it, when the needle's going in, he keeps going like... I was like, so we're supposed to be affected by a needle going through what to me looks like Play-Doh stuck to her face.
They sold it to me. I was sold on it.
I could not believe how bad that looked.
Now we're back in the house after, because we come back to her later. So she had her lips sewn shut.
Horrendous.
Meanwhile, little Tommy, he's been an little investigator and he's recording these weird sounds on his Sesame Street recorder.
That's what I was saying, yeah.
I love it. Sesame Street. Right? Miss Brooks is now back to Miss Brooks now, and what happens to her? She's hanging.
Mrs. Brooks, yeah.
She's hanging down a chimney, and all of a sudden, the rest of the characters decide it's gotten a bit cold in the house.
Oh, it's a bit chilly.
Yeah.
Yeah, got to light the fire.
Mm-hmm. Mm. But Miss Brooks is hanging there. Obviously, she can't speak because her lips have been sewn shut, and it's her own husband, Mr. Brooks, that decides to light the fire. thereby burning his own wife to death.
This is just as dumb as last week's Mutilated 2 situation, because, again, she's got her lips sewn shut, so yeah, she can't speak. But she can absolutely make noise.
Well...
And she's, like, just a few centimetres away when he's trying to light it. And apparently no one can hear her.
No. No one can hear her.
So stupid.
Mr. Brooks has burned his own wife alive.
And also, why does not single one of them comment on the fact that it smells like burning flesh?
Well, Mr. Brooks does notice the smell. He just doesn't recognise it as flesh. He's like, it smells a bit funny, doesn't it? But doesn't recognise it as smash. So now... Unfortunately, David Hasselhoff is still not getting any. Right? Still not getting any. And she's a right tease. She is.
Is she?
She's a tease.
You're looking at me like...
No wonder he went to Baywatch after this treatment. Where the women are, more loose and willing to...
How is she a tease?
Well, just by hanging around, being there in general, I guess. Just taking him on as a boyfriend. How old are they in this?
But it's just as much his fault as hers. If she's been clear from the start that she doesn't want to have sex, which it seems to me she has, because she doesn't even want to talk about it, and he's still pandering her, he's in the wrong, really.
In my opinion, in any walk of life, any facet of life, David Hasselhoff is innocent. That's what I say. Anyway, blonde Linda now, she's already tried to seduce Jerry a little bit, and she takes him to another room, and there's no bed in the room, and Jerry mentions this, and she's like, we don't need a bed. So once again, Jerry's like, oh.
Well, actually, when she was shagging John at the beginning, they weren't on a bed either. They were also on the floor, so she likes it.
I should also mention that someone's peeping at them while they're about to get down to it. I know it's Mr. Brooks. I just like to say someone is peeping at them.
But why not just say it's Mr.
Then reveal it. Then David Hasselhoff does a Scottish accent to Tommy, which is much worse than my one. Mm-hmm.
Unimportant, but
David
David
Hasselhoff mentions that he can do loads of impressions in this film, his character. So yeah, but maybe the Scottish was his worst one. That's what I've got to believe. That's what I believe. So now Jerry, the estate agent's dad, is worried on the mainland about where his son is because he was supposed to be back before sundown.
Don't worry, Dad, he's getting laid
on this boat, but he's not getting laid. Yeah. So he's almost on his whereabouts is. Lady in the Black now. She sees that they're about to get down to it and decides to put Jerry and blonde Linda into the red thing, and they're in it together. So mostly now we've had one person at a time. This time we've got both Jerry and Linda.
Jerry's really not selling. Jerry's not into this.
Jerry's like, do what? Okay. Is this going to be in the movie?
What's happening?
Yeah. Puts them in the red thing, and they end up in the dreamlike tunnel. The witch's lair. Linda is now in the hag's possession, and the estate agent is not going to get any now.
No.
He's not going to get any, and they're left there so that Jerry's agent, he's kind of like looking through this chicken wire, and he can see her being tended to, let's say.
Oh, she's being garroted. That's what it is. Yeah.
Tommy is now back talking about the woman in black. It's probably unimportant. Estate agent Jerry ends up being tied down and crucified.
Yes, we've actually had mention by this point. Again, it's really unclear, and it was only half picked up. But when this German witch is saying her German incantations, and then there's bits said, so it's like, oh, the whore. So that's obviously Linda. And
blonde Linda.
The this and the that. There were other ones, so...
Yeah, I've got them later, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
While Jerry's being crucified, and we've seen she's been garroted, we're now back in the real world, and David Hasselhoff comes across blonde Linda in the real world impaled on a tuna.
Yes. Yeah, how is this the second week in a row where we've seen these fake fish things kill people? In
Mutilated 2, there was a swordfish contraption on a pier.
And by the way, I don't know what it is because I'm not a fish expert, but I can say with quite a lot of certainty that it's not a tuna. Tuna do not.
Tuna doesn't have the Pinocchio nose, no? What does their face look like?
Just a regular fish.
Regular fish. Oh, that narrows it down. So, is there any other fish via swordfish that has the
spikes? Yeah, there's loads of ones that have the spiky nose, but I don't know what they are.
Could it be a mutated tuna?
I feel like they're more of a tropical thing, not very European, because I've been fishing, I've never seen a long-nosed fish.
I'm just going to call it a tuna.
Okay.
So, that's what she deserves as well, by the way. There are a few things that you mentioned, like each character has a certain thing about them according to the Lady in Black.
Yeah.
And the Lady in Black says that Leslie has the blood of a virgin, which we all know because she's not given it up to David Hasselhoff. And it's at this point that she kind of takes Virgin Leslie, and then she gets her comeuppance, if you want to call it that.
She takes Virgin and she gets her what?
Yes. What happens is, what I mean is, after the Lady in Black says that Leslie has the blood of a virgin,
yeah,
she then has her scene with the melty-faced lipped man.
As in the Virgin
demon.
has her scene, not the woman in black.
Leslie.
Yeah.
Leslie the Virgin, yeah.
So this is probably the first horror movie I've seen where being a virgin actually was the wrong choice. She could have gotten away pretty much unharmed if she'd just given it up to Hoff. I mean... yeah, this scene... That would have been such a hardship, wouldn't it? Would have been really horrendous if it didn't have cutaways. So I guess we should explain what the scene is. Leslie is asleep, as the woman in black says, the virginity blood thing. And in her dream... I just fed her. In her dream, some weird, like, demon man with kind of half glued together lips.
Melted lips.
Yeah, and a bunch of weird demon things around them comes and decides to take the virginity by force.
Roughly.
And as I said, this would have been absolutely horrendous. But we then cut from that scene to the scene of her in the house where you don't see anyone around her. You've just got her exposed, writhing on a bed with no visual. It was so silly.
I thought it was harrowing.
That it took away, thankfully, from the horrendous nature of the scene.
And then she awakens, thinking, oh, it's just a dream, and she dabs her crotch and blood. Yeah, she should have just given it to David Hasselhoff. That's the moral of the story. That's what I took from this movie anyway. So she awakens, like I said. Now the woman in black, she starts a fire to burn the estate agent.
Jerry.
Right? Yeah, and Jerry's on an upside down cross, which is what we've been crucified to. He's going to set a light. And Mrs. Brooks then falls out of the fire. And I've written no one's really too bothered.
No, not really.
They're like, oh look, it's Mrs. Brooks, been burnt to death. We did that. Oh, uh-oh.
Yeah,
it was cold in here, though.
Really that,
so we needed to burn her. Now, we didn't mention, right at the beginning of the movie, little Tommy, he's kind of like somewhat befriended a girl in a wheelchair. Little girl in a wheelchair.
Right, he has words, yeah.
Has a few words there. And
on the mainland, yeah.
Once all this is like happening, so it's all going wrong, so they can't go off the mainland, so David Hasselhoff finds a flare, and he shoots it in the air. Luckily for him, wheelchair girl back on the mainland has noticed this flare. She goes and tries to tell her dad, but her dad is too busy reading The Godfather, so he kind of like shoos her away. Leslie is now listening to the Sesame Street recordings, and she thinks it could be German.
So you mentioned, we haven't mentioned this girl, but am I wrong in saying that she was completely useless to the story?
Yeah.
Because I'm wrong in that, or that's right?
Oh no, you're right.
I am right.
Yeah, she was completely useless to the story.
It was completely useless. Because even after her dad's like, yeah, go to bed, she then picks up the phone to try and call the cops to be like, look, my dad's not listening, but I just saw a flare go off. But the cops, they don't answer. And then that's the end of that. And it doesn't matter because Jerry's dad then goes to the cops himself.
Because he's seen the flare. Jerry's dad's seen the flare.
Point?
He's pleading with the cop. Now, I've written woman in labour. Oh, that's what we need. That's what they need. So, woman black's like, we need a woman in labour, the blood of a virgin, and something else.
A whore.
And a voodoo doll is used on Mr. Brooks.
So, again, when I say, like, I found this story a bit boring and a bit confusing, like, nothing was very clear. Woman in Black does say later on in the film, like right towards the end, she's like...
Woman in Black's son's Harry Potter, by the way.
What?
Woman in Black, Harry Potter.
Oh, Daniel Radcliffe, right. Woman in Black says, like, I needed all of you here. I brought you all here. So each of them was one of these pieces of the puzzle in her magical spell. But half of them, I had no idea what role they were supposed to be.
Yeah, that's
She's got Linda Blair because
well,
she's
she's a pregnant woman. We obviously know Leslie's a virgin.
Leslie's a virgin.
But the rest of them...
Blonde Linda's a whore.
Mm-hmm. We get that as well.
Oh, wait. Mrs. Brooks was the one greedy.
She is greedy.
Something to do with greed. But I still don't know. Mr. Brooks, Hoff, Jerry, I have no idea. It wasn't clarified for me.
At this point, I'm like super invested in the movie. You know, it's gripped me and stuff. But very quickly, I'm out of it because David Hasselhoff gets shot in the face and blood spurts from his face and he dies. I was not expecting David Hasselhoff to be blown away.
He gets shot in the face?
Yeah. Hoff shot in face by Brooks. Brooks shoots him in the face. And, you know, he never got to tap Leslie either.
He doesn't get shot. No. Brooks is being, like you said, the doll thing.
Yeah.
He's being pinned.
Voodoo dolled.
So he's getting blood spurting out, and his blood spurts onto Hoff's face.
And he shoots David Hasselhoff in the face.
Okay.
Yeah. Now there's a helicopter coming to save them. Because, you know, they've seen the flare, and it's Jerry's dad and the cop in a helicopter. As a cop, are you just allowed... You know, how do they have a helicopter at their disposal? This is like a ramshackle police department is working in, but they just have a top-of-the-line chopper.
I was wondering that too, but...
Yeah.
No.
So they come to the rescue, but they end up turning back because they think that nothing's there. But then they end up... But no, maybe Hasselhoff isn't... Maybe it's a dream and Hasselhoff died, because now Hasselhoff is back!
Yeah, Hasselhoff was
He's
not shot in
back.
the face.
And he manages to catch their attention. Hoff, Les, and Linda B are now outside.
Can we just make a note of that? I was right.
Tommy sees the woman in black. Hoff and Leslie go to check. Linda Blair, though, is possessed. Linda Blair is possessed. Now I've got to ask you, witchcraft or exorcist?
Don't be an idiot.
Linda Blair is possessed in both.
Don't be stupid.
Did you know that Linda Blair was going to be possessed in it? Because I didn't. What they've given, they've given her a blowout, and that's about it. So if you have a blowout hairstyle, you're possessed.
Yeah, it's really stupid. And also, just going back to the helicopter thing, so, you know, the estate agent convinced the copper to take their helicopter out for some expensive joyride, because what were they going to do? They're like, oh, we don't see anyone, we should go back, but, oh, maybe I did see someone. Doesn't matter, because I can't land anywhere anyway.
No.
So what is the point?
Yeah.
There's literally no point. Yeah, okay, so yeah.
Now,
Linda Blair is possessed.
So the
by
Hoff,
the witch.
the Hoff goes looking for Tommy, little Tommy. Now I've written, Hoff is stabbed by instrument, like forceps. He gets forceps in the back, doesn't he?
Now Hoff is off.
Yeah, now I've lost interest in the movie.
Now Hoff's off.
Don't you find it weird that I'm more confused this week doing the show sober than when I am when I've been, you know...
You're confusing me with your, like...
I'm confused.
The way you're summing stuff up, I'm like, what?
Forceps.
What?
David Hasselhoff was stabbed in the back by forceps. That was pretty grim. I didn't enjoy seeing David Hasselhoff in...
Leslie is still...
You know,
so it's Hoff and
dying
Leslie
throes of his
and the
life.
little boy who are still fine. The little boy obviously goes up to his older sister, but she's possessed.
Linda Blair.
And Linda Blair starts strangling him.
Mm-hmm. But luckily for little Tommy, earlier on his Sesame Street recorder, he's been saying... What's the name of Linda Blair in this? Either way, I love you, Linda Blair. I love you, Linda Blair. I love you, Linda Blair. And then luckily for him, someone plays...
Hoff chucks it and it starts playing.
Right, Hoff chucks the Sesame Street recorder towards
his
him.
dying breath.
And then Linda Blair says like, oh, I love you, Linda Blair. She hears it, and momentarily, the possession is gone. Much like in The Exorcist when Father Karras takes the demon out of little Linda by strangling her. And he then throws himself out a window. So, of course, in this, Linda Blair throws herself out of a window when she realises that she's possessed, and she saves everyone by killing herself. So they've gone an Exorcist thing there.
Yeah.
So it's almost as good as The Exorcist.
Of course it is.
Yeah. Linda B jumps out the window, and then we're in a hospital. We're in a hospital now. Who's there? Leslie. Because Leslie hasn't died, but we do know that a demon has had its way with her. So what happens is we just see Leslie sitting in a hospital bed. A nurse walks in and she goes, your baby's fine. And then Leslie turns to the camera.
My baby.
My baby. Finn.
Freeze framed on that.
Finn. on a scale of 1 to 1,000, how happy are you to watch this film?
1.
What?
This movie was so dull.
This is dull compared to Prisoners of the Sun. I'm afraid you're wrong. At least stuff happens in it, and you got like a hag and a man hag crucifying people, sewing people's lips shut. You got demon raping virgins. You got the Hoff getting none. What happens in Prisoners of the Sun?
This was
Nout.
Like just so pastel.
Oh, and Prisoners of the Sun wasn't. There was no Linda Blair and Hoff in, directed by an Italian.
Well, anyway, we move on to the worst acting of the week, but the
best
most
movie.
Entertainment, apparently.
Troll 2. And don't worry, if you haven't seen Troll, you don't need to.
No.
Because this is...
I'm shocked by so many things with this film. Shocked.
Do you mean electrified by shocked?
No.
Electrified. I was electrified.
You're an idiot.
I was loving this movie from the off. Grandpa Seth voiceover beginning, and he's telling his little grandson Josh a story about goblins at bedtime. Goblins. This movie is called Troll 2. What's the difference between a troll and a goblin?
I don't know, but I'm sure there are differences.
Trolls have big hair.
Is that so?
Yeah, I troll dolls. You have troll dolls? Mm-hmm. Good stuff. It's bedtime. Grandpa Seth's telling a story about goblins, and now we see a bunch of trolls or goblins running through the woods to really inappropriate music. It's like Zelda's coming to save the day instead of a bunch of maniacal little trolls.
I mean, that's also just being really generous,
on a
Jonny,
Casio.
because you're saying maniacal little trolls, but they were not. They were very clearly little people in paper mache masks.
I could tell they were trolls. Or
I could make better
goblins
masks than they were wearing. It was shocking. My favourite, though, was the one with the big goggly eyes.
Yeah, one of them, they've clearly had to rush to finish the last mask. Yeah, I have this.
Well, most of them, I assume purposefully just made the eyes big, hollow...
See-through.
Black, so
Yeah.
But there's a couple of them they put fake eyes on, and my goodness.
While Grandpa Seth is telling the story, we get to see the visions of the story. So we see the Peter Pan guy called Peter running through the woods, but his girl comes to Peter and feeds him some green slime. And as we see this,
it's really unappetizing. Why he's eating it, I don't know.
As we see this, little Josh, who's in bed being read the story, is inserted into the forest scene. He's like, "Wait, Grandpa, he had some slime," or something like that. I thought that was genius. After he shows up in the scene, meanwhile, Peter, who's eating his green slime, he turns in to half man, half plant, and wouldn't you know, it's the goblin's favourite. Goblin's favourite. So all the goblins come and they start eating up this mushy Peter.
Which in reality is just putting green goop against the paper mache.
Yeah, because they literally can't move their mouths because it is just a stiff mask. So they're like...
Kayla! What is it? It's so bad.
It's by the time we get to that point in Grandpa Seth's story that little Josh's mum walks into the room, and guess what? Grandpa isn't really there in the chair talking to Josh.
Was fooled.
He's not there. He's dead or something.
Yeah,
he's
not or
dead.
Something, he's dead.
Yeah, so the mother then tries to kind of calm her son, Josh, and she sits on the bed, and in monotone, she's like, "We're going on vacation tomorrow, it'll do us all good, go to sleep." Acting! Something else to mention, by the way, little Josh, in his room, he's got multiple wall flags, and the first one I noticed was Darryl Strawberry. Right, he was a baseball player, played for the New York Mets. So I noticed that, I was like, oh, this little kid's a Mets fan. But then he's got Chicago Cubs, Detroit Pistons. I'm like, this kid just supports every single team going. Needs to make up his mind.
More chance of winning that way.
We've been introduced to Josh. Been introduced to the mother. Once the mother puts Josh to bed, she goes to the other room, checks on her daughter Holly, who is pumping iron in a very skimpy outfit, but is drenched in sweat, and Mum's just loving it. Now, Holly, what a performance.
This girl. It's actually, do you know what? I can't even choose who's the worst actor in this. All I can say is the best actor is the little boy. And that pretty much tells you everything.
I'm glad you said that. I love little Josh. I think he's so sincere with everything he did.
He's cute.
He reminded a little bit of an older Albie. That's why I was rooting for him so much.
Your nephew.
My nephew, yeah. So now that we've introduced the entire family, while the mum has been speaking to Josh before she says, let's go on vacation together, everything will be all right, he has mentioned to her the goblins, aka trolls. So then she goes and sits next to her husband, Michael. No, you're on a couch. Sits with her husband, Michael, and she turns to him and she says, who are the goblins? And he goes, goblins?
And scene.
Yeah.
What was the point in that?
Now a character called Elliot breaks into the house, into Holly's room. Shouldn't have done that because Holly punches him in the face, to which he replies, you trying to turn me into a homo?
I think he punches in the nuts. That's why he says it.
It's more about the line that he says afterwards. Yeah, he could have punched her anyway, even if it is
I think he meant eunuch, but he says homo.
Yeah, does he just think that homosexuals have no feeling in their ball sack
I don't
or
know.
something?
Castrated.
Well, that's what the writer thinks anyway.
Castrato.
Yeah, and Holly's got big problems with Elliot because he always wants to hang with his boys. And they're going on vacation tomorrow, and Holly says to Elliot, you better show up on time because we're going to go on the holiday together with my family. We're leaving at 8 a.m. But then he ends up standing her up. The dad's giving it till 9:30.
That's really generous.
Hour and a half, and Holly's crying in the back of the car. She's like, we could have waited another 15 minutes. And it's when Dad says, we've already waited an hour and a half. Like, what's another 15 minutes going to do? By the way, the dad absolutely hates Elliot.
Yeah.
He absolutely cannot stand him.
But turns out Elliot hasn't completely stood up.
Let's hang on a second. Because to calm everyone down, Mother turns to little Josh in the back seat and says, why don't you sing that song that everybody loves and calm us all down? Row, row, row your boat. Joe, row, row your boat.
No, you're supposed to continue. It's one of those. That's what they do, Jonny.
Because it's not in time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need to punish the audience with more of this.
But also, I don't think I've ever seen such uncommitted singing in a film in my life. The mum literally is like, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream.
I think she's just, keeping it. She's already spoken to us on the bed like that. Now she's singing like that.
Her face throughout the entirety of this film as well is always just like.
So we mentioned all these people. Just briefly, the father, his acting chops were. I think the dad was my favourite out of everyone, even more so than Holly. We need to get to Holly a bit more later on, but anyway, at the same time as the family are driving to this great vacation, Elliot and his boys are in like an RV, a recreational vehicle, or camper van, whatever you want to call it, and they're heading somewhere where the ladies are free and unattached.
What do you mean they're heading somewhere? They're heading to the same place.
Where the ladies are free and unattached. Josh dreams of being a plant then. Little Josh has fallen asleep in the back of a car. He's having a dream about being a plant, and he's being driven by the trolls. He's got like leaves come out of his head and stuff like that, and stalks little Josh, and he's got green goo on his face. I feel like the makeup department have got unhardened jelly, green jelly, just like on people's faces. At
well, they say
when
you have this stuff, you start sweating green, so they just pour green down their faces.
That's smart.
When you say the boys are driving somewhere, no, Elliot has convinced his lads that they should go to the same place so that Elliot can have his holiday with his girlfriend without leaving the lads behind.
Exactly, I'm aware of that. Yeah,
but you just said somewhere.
Yeah, well, but I don't even know where the family are heading to. I'm just saying wherever they're going to.
Yeah, they're also
where the ladies are free.
Family's great vacation is a house swap.
Yeah.
So they're going to go and live on a farm.
But before we get to that, again, you're just going way too far ahead, right?
Break down.
After Josh's dream in the back of a car where he's a plant, once he comes back to reality, who do you see at the side of the road? Grandpa. So he's like, we gotta stop. Because the grandpa gives him advice on how we can stop the car. Does he say he needs to be sick or something like that? Or needs to go to the toilet?
The kid is like, we need to stop. Mum says, why? You need to be sick? Yeah, I need to be sick.
He'll just take that. So little Josh then runs the grandpa on the side of the road. But it turns out it's just a dirty man. It's a man with like dirt on his face. And he's like looking up in disbelief. Like, I thought I saw grandpa. So he doesn't just see grandpa. He sees dirty men in his visions too.
But before
getting back in the car.
Before Grandpa turns into Dirty Man, Grandpa's like, you need to stop your family from going to this place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the same time, when they cut off again, Elliot and the lad seem to be stranded in their RV, so they're all waving.
That's what
at
I
the
was going to
family.
say. Is this RV broken down? Or
If it was, it wasn't mentioned.
It wasn't mentioned
No.
at all. But I assume it must be because, yeah, they wave at passing girlfriend.
But Holly's like,
yeah, screw you.
even though there's no way in hell that they would be able to see from the distance that they're driving that she's given the finger.
No, and also I assume it's broken down because at one point one of them, you know, when he goes to get groceries or whatever, seems like he has to run a really long distance where it surely would have been easier to just drive.
I guess when you're making a movie called Troll 2, not important to mention if stuff is broken or not. But the family carry on. Where do they end up? Nilbog! The town of Nilbog. Nilbog. That's Nilbog. And the first thing they come across is like a bunch of dudes in like cowboy hats and caps standing outside a convenience store. They finally get to the house where they're going on holiday. Michael, the dad, gets out of the car. What does he say? Fresh air. Country air. Because that's what you have in the country, is fresh air. And it's at this point, yeah, we've got a family swap. It's like wife swap, but with families.
House swap, yeah. So they pass over their keys. This family is a bit strange. You know, same makeup, 2 parents, older daughter, younger son.
Vacant
but
look
they're
on
not
their face.
really, yeah, they're not smiling. They're not making any small talk. They're just like, you're late.
Maybe that's just the Nilbog way.
Bit weird.
A little bit strange. As this Nilbog family are driving off, one of the kids throws a baseball at little Josh, and it's got a green, everything's in green, it's got a green written message on it which says, "Eat up before we eat you." Something like that. Yeah. So to get into the house, the family, Josh's family, his dad Michael, his mum, and Holly, they're all in the house.
Oh dear.
And there's a spread.
Oh,
there's a spread out for them. And this spread would include multiple just vegetables and fruits. And you know that it's from the town of Nilbog. You'll have an ear of corn. And it just has some green paste on top of it.
Yeah, everything, every food item has green goo.
Grandpa Seth appears and he says to little Josh, "You can't let your family eat this food. Like, think of something.
You've got 10 seconds.
Grandpa stops time. He stops time. And when I say stop time, doesn't mean that Holly's not going as time is stopped. Like, all that has been told, right, be as still as you can. Holly is the worst at keeping still, holding her corn on the cob.
Maybe it's a really heavy corn.
As they're stopping time and thinking of a plan of what they can do, Josh is like at his wit's end, so he just decides to stand on the table,
I have to do it.
unzip his pants, and he just pisses all over the food. I have to do it.
Now, here I was thinking he would just, you know, pull the tablecloth off and everything would fall to the floor and that would be enough. But no, he has to piss on it.
No, because you might be able to salvage food from the floor, but pissed on food, no one's going back for that.
Well, that's true.
So he's made sure he's been thorough. He's thorough. So now, obviously, Dad
Do you
might...
think he pissed on the corn that she was already holding up then? Because
I just pissed everywhere.
how you do that without splattering, I don't know.
Douse it everywhere. Yeah. So now the dad, Michael, he takes Josh upstairs. Got him in like a fireman's lift. He's like, "You've been a very bad boy." Puts Josh on his bed. All of a sudden, the dad's like undoing his belt. Josh is like, "What are you going to do?" We think he's going to beat him with the belt. But the dad, Michael, says, "Now that we can't eat, I need to tighten my belt one notch to stop my hunger coming back."
Oh my god, this bit was... Oh my god, it was... Yeah. And also, the dad keeps going on about hospitality, you know?
Country hospitality.
And being a good farmer and stuff. This dad's really, really into this house swap. Living his secret favourite life now.
Yeah. Now we're back to the RV, the broken down RV.
Well, the lads are watching some great telly.
Elliot and his crew are there, right? And they've got a friend called Arnold. He starts running through the forest.
To go and get coffee and milk and stuff.
Yeah, because they've got nothing in their fridge.
Smart.
So he starts running through the forest, and while he's there, he just decides to tackle a girl. So, he brings her down. He brings down some girl, a green-faced girl. So that's another reason just not to bring her down. Don't even touch her. He sees a green-faced girl in the forest, brings her down. What do you know it? The trolls come.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
The trolls come.
So confusing.
And I think the girl warns Arnold about these trolls. So Arnold goes over to the trolls and tells them off.
Yeah.
Do you remember what he says at all? In this stern telling off that he gives these trolls?
Well, when you say he tackles... I would have said more that he sees a damsel in distress running through the forest with, like, torn clothes and clearly running away from something. And instead of going to the RV when he calls out to her, she continues running, and he's so determined to save her that he runs after her, and when she won't stop, he tackles her, as you said.
Maybe he assumes that she's one of these free and loose ladies from Nilbog that he's been promised.
Don't go away! I need some!
Yeah.
But when he tackles her and they turn around, she's like, they're there! And he turns and sees these trolls.
As I said, he goes and tells them off. And the trolls think they've been read the right out, but as he turns around, the trolls, they throw a spear at him, and it goes into Arnold's like shoulder or something. He's still alive. And as he screams out in pain from this spearing, we're back at the RV, and the lads in the RV can hear the shout, the scream coming from Arnold. They're like, what's that? And one of them says, maybe it's just Arnold deflowering a girl from Nilbog.
And then the other guy says, no, it's more likely that it's Arnold being
High five me,
deflowered.
I'm going to face palm you. That's right.
But also, you've skipped over something which I think is really important in this confrontation.
Well, the whole movie's
when he
important.
tells the trolls, he doesn't seem in the least bit perturbed that there are little troll men. He's like, yeah, this is normal.
Well, you have to understand when you're a young...
What the fuck?
When you're a young lad and you've been promised, free, loose, unattached women from Nilbog...
Then trolls don't
that's all that's in
you?
your mind. It's like you have to get to the task at hand, which is these loose women. Trolls are just there. They're like, you've got to get through them. It's like a rite of passage. Before I lost my virginity, I had to slay a troll. You don't know what men go through. So... yeah, so he's probably deflowering a girl from Nilbog. Now Arnold and the girl, they come to a house where they meet. What was her first name? Let me just get it up a second. Credence Leonore Guild of the ancient druids, ancestors from Stonehenge, and this is my house.
Oh my... I can't even make fun of it because it's so awful. You can start with just the appearance, because they've taken a middle-aged woman...
It reminded me of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
And they've put... That's really offensive. And they've put, like, just whitening powder on her and sort of, like, drawn some cracks on her lip. Like, tried to make her look older, but it's the worst makeup attempt I've ever seen.
I thought it was good.
Even worse than the troll masks. And her... acting is... how do you put it into words? I mean,
scene stealing?
That it is. Let's just say I don't think I've ever seen anyone... I
Prop
talk
chewing?
a lot about actors who are really committing.
She's committed.
She is the most committed to trying to get this craziness across.
Well, that's good. Commitment is
That
good.
it's like the worst amateur theatre acting you can imagine.
So is she now your worst actor or actress in this? Probably.
It's just... none of them can act, but she's really thrusting in your face.
She ends up giving them Leonore Guild. She ends up giving the two like this funky concoction. The girl drinks it and she begins to suffer, and she ends up turning into vegetation, right? And the goblins come and they start eating her up on this like landing, and Arnold is looking up at them and he's like, they're eating her, then they're gonna eat me. Oh my god! And it's not done for comedic effect.
That was too good
It's
as well.
played straight.
And, he can't move for some reason.
That's my favourite part of the film. Yeah, that's another thing. I can't move.
Why can't
I move?
And how idiotic. You run
There
into
must
some
be a logical explanation.
random crazy woman's house in the middle of nowhere and you just drink what she gives you.
Yeah. So at this
Have
point,
they never read Hansel and Gretel?
at this point, we don't know what's going to happen to Arnold, but we have seen the lady turn into vegetation. Now we are back to Holly and Holly's dance number.
I thought that, like, TikTok dances were the worst thing in the modern
Impressive.
age. Turns out they aren't from the modern age. Girls used to just do it in the mirror without their phones. Because, yeah, Holly's there like... And then she goes to herself in the mirror as if she's talking to her boyfriend, Elliot. She's like, Elliot, you've got to choose between the gorgeous Holly something or your boys. So the little dance is just to pump herself up for it, I think.
I love just random 80s dance numbers in horror movies.
It was horrendous.
In 80s ones. Remember one in Nightmare on Elm Street 2?
Yeah.
Jesse. He shuts a drawer of his bum.
80s dancing.
Yeah. And I love the ultimatum practice because she's a badass. So there's no way that Elliot's going to be able to resist this. Now, Grandpa Seth appears to Holly at this moment as a giant head. That was my favourite, my favourite version
Now, if I was Grandpa
Grandpa Seth.
I'd be like, Holly, stop being such an idiot. Don't dance like that in the mirror.
It turns out that he only appeared to Holly in the mirror because he doesn't know his way around this new house. So he doesn't know which room is what yet. So he accidentally came to Holly. He should have been going to see...
He's still looking for Josh.
Josh, yeah. So Josh ends up talking to him. And it turns out, much like Holly's father doesn't like Elliot, Grandpa Seth doesn't like Michael, the husband of his daughter. There's like a running thing there. Do you like that? Because it ties the whole film together.
I didn't pick that up.
Now, in the RV, there's still no milk and coffee. Because obviously Arnold's been thwarted. And Elliot is the one that's gone on about, these loose free women. Mm-hmm. But the first night there, he's waking up next to his mate in bed. I mean, he's failed so miserably that he's waking up next to a dude.
Well, Elliot's only said that to them to get them along. He knows it's not true.
Karen, when you are promised loose ladies, you take that as gospel.
But also, like I said, they're either broken down or they've parked for some reason in the middle of nowhere.
Where is all this free unattached poon? That's what I want to know.
Well, it's not going to be in the middle of the forest, is it?
Well, no. Arnold found one in the forest and tackled her. So there. So now there's only week-old Nilbog milk in the house as well. So there's no bacon. Right, no bacon, nothing like that. So Dad and Josh go food shopping. And they go into town. And the sheriff freak picks up this jogging RV lad. Puts him in his car. And
one of the boys.
Gives him a green slime donut to eat.
Tasty.
It did look quite tasty, actually, didn't it?
It did not look tasty.
No?
No, none of the green food looked appealing.
So
both the family, Dad and Josh, and one of the boys from the RV, they're all making their way to the convenience store because they need some groceries. Yeah.
Mention that. So now this RV lad is in the car with the cop. When he's been eating this green donut, the last thing he says before he gets out is, "Where are all the girls?" And the cop's like, "Girls?" He's been led asunder, hasn't he? There are no women for him.
There also, there does seem to be a majority of men in this town, to be fair.
Too much sausage.
And when RV lad, one of Elliot's mates, gets to the convenience store, the outside, there's just like a throng of...
Yeah, it's the same hat people
non-talking,
that he saw when they drove into
non-moving
Nilbog.
locals, yeah.
And there's also a weirdo owner inside. He lets them know that they're all vegetarians, so there's no bacon here if they want that.
No bacon.
But there's plenty of free, and I mentioned free Nilbog milk. So he gives them some Nilbog milk. And they should be happy with that.
Yeah, so off RV boy goes, and as he's going out, as we mentioned all these locals outside, one of them goes up to him and says, "Hey, your friend asked you to meet him at the
At the
house
house.
down the road.
Yeah.
Right?
Which is the Druid's lady's house. Leonore Guild's house, right?
Which RV lad doesn't seem to find weird. Why has my mate told you? And like
He lets go of a lot of stuff,
he
the
does.
jogging guy.
A lot.
Yeah. So now we're back at the house, and Leonore
Which house?
Guild,
Oh, that house.
my house, and she is now talking to Plant Arnold. Arnold is in a plant pot, much like Josh's dream of all the sticks coming out of him and stuff and leaves. He's now turning into half man, half plant,
I definitely thought that
and there's bark on his face.
the makeup effects they used, this was the best of the entire film, was
Really?
the plantifying thing, like his legs turning to plant, the bark, and I liked the leaves sprouting from under the nails.
Yeah,
and
I guess
stuff.
it did look pretty good. But
When you compare it to the troll masks.
the
And-
bark though just looked like multiple miniature turds put together. That's what I got from that. So that bit wasn't the best. It's almost like he's Bane with shit on his face instead of a gas mask or whatever that thing is that Bane
It
wears.
was like a Bane mask, yeah.
So, is Troll 2 responsible for The Dark Knight Rises?
No.
I'm going to say yes.
So we're back with Dad and Josh, who've gotten to the convenience store, but it's actually closed now with a sign on the door saying, off to mass, back in 20 minutes. So
Oh yeah, mass.
Dad is like, well, Josh, we are farmers now, so we've got to be patient. So he sits on his rocking chair, picks up a vegetable cookbook, and it puts him to sleep.
Yeah, because I've got to imagine that a vegetarian cookbook is really boring. So of course he's asleep.
Well, for a non-vegetarian, I
He's
suppose,
asleep
yeah.
within 5 seconds though. He's like, I'm going to set up my chair.
He's shattered.
He's done. But it's like the middle of the day. So anyway, now that he's asleep, like little Josh decides that he can like have a little wander, but he doesn't get far. He goes to the car, and in the wing mirror of the car, he catches a signpost for the town Nilbog. And in the mirror, he can see it and says, Nilbog! It's Goblins spelled backwards! But the thing is, in the wing mirror, it's still backwards. So how has he been able to decipher that it says Goblin?
It's...
Did
Also,
you like that
Nilbog
realization?
is like the worst fake name for a place I've ever heard.
Well, it was either we call it Nilbog or we call it like Lolort. Lolort is not as, it doesn't roll as easy off the tongue as
Why are
Nilbog.
there so many things in this film that are the worst of that I've ever seen? There's just... Anyway.
Leonore Guild, the lady who's descended from the Druids, she now decides it's time to pay a visit to the family, right? To little Josh's family. And she's like, I'm your new neighbour. You know, she's still doing the same excellent stuff.
And she brought them a traditional dessert,
Yeah, do you want traditional dessert? Well, she wants them to munch up really
which
quickly.
has green on it.
And it's at this point that Josh gets on his skateboard after seeing the Nilbog sign that says Goblin, and he skateboards to a barn located in Nilbog.
Yeah, just some dilapidated building. I don't know why he singled that one out, but he goes in there and actually turns out it was the right building to go into, because this is where the
sermon.
townspeople are at mass. And he climbs up a floor, so he's above them. And like I said, it's really dilapidated, so there's holes everywhere. And he's kind of shoving bits of the flooring out the way so you can listen to what they're saying.
Unfortunately for him, he's got his skateboard there with
Positioned
him.
badly,
But
yeah.
we'll go back there. Once we're hearing the sermon, the townsfolk, they hate sausages. They absolutely hate sausages. And the sermon, you know, the guy that's running the sermon, the preacher, we call him a preacher, I guess. He then says to all of his followers, the Nilbog population, the humans, they use sausages as sustenance. So that's another reason just to hate the humans, that they eat sausages.
Yeah, he's like, think of all the, fake ingredients, all the fat, all the... So at this point in the film, to me, it almost seemed like whoever's made this movie is a vegetarian and is trying to, like, show how disgusting we are for eating processed foods and meats.
But he's not done a very good job because the townspeople all look malnourished and sick.
Well, they're trolls as
But they're
well,
also
so-
vegetarians.
And then also later in the day, meat saves the day. So I that theory is blown out the water.
That's a motto for life, isn't it? Meat saves the day.
Is it?
So, we've already mentioned that little Josh is spying on all this through the hole, but he's not kept an eye on his skateboard, and boom, his skateboard falls through the hole, therefore interrupting the sermon, and everyone is onto him. They kind of grab him, don't they? And they're trying to force feed him Nilbog ice cream, right? But I've got to mention, right, as when the skateboard comes down, Josh is still looking through the hole and just like,
yeah,
a hand just comes
a
in
hand
his
comes
face,
out, yeah.
plants his face. Yeah. In between all this, Holly has now decided to go and see Elliot outside the RV. Doesn't take 5 seconds before she like whacks him in the face again or wherever, in the balls, whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and whacks him, and like the dad then comes and has a go at him as well, doesn't he?
On the way back from the shop, he's
stand up, my daughter.
But you've missed it then, because if the dad's already in the car on the way back to spot her, that means that dad heard Josh crying out, went into the dilapidated building, found him trying to force feed his son. And they're like, oh, we're just trying to give your son some ice cream. We've done nothing wrong. But even dad at this point is like, something's up. Like, something weird is going on. And,
no, I hadn't missed anything out. Like I just said, they take little Josh, try to force feed him ice cream. Then we see the dad with the daughter. Now the dad goes to the shack, the ramshackle sermon shack, and he sees his son being like pulled around by all the people. And they're like you say, they tell him that we're just feeding him, ice cream. But then the dad notices that the family are also there. He's like, what the hell are you doing here? You should be at my house.
Still there.
I'm at your house in Nilbog.
But they make an excuse about like car breaking down or something.
Yeah. And then of course, when little Josh's dad comes into the sermon room and rescues Josh, he's like, Dad, they're all monsters, and I told you, Nilbog is goblin spelled backwards. He's harping on about Nilbog, and just turn it around, it means goblin, even though this is troll 2, not goblin 2. Yeah, family swapper there. Now, I actually got it wrong, so it would have been just Holly at one point punching poor Elliot in the face again. And as the dad is coming back with Josh, he spots.
That's what I was saying.
And he says, Christ! And like Josh is like, what is it? And he's like, your sister's with that playboy son of the Coopers.
So is that supposed to be ironic? Because Elliot is not a playboy in this whatsoever. He's just got his lads around him all the time, but they're not even lads in the, what you'd say, oh, lads. They're just boys. So like, oh, there can be some girls that we can have sex with. That's not playboy.
Playboy
that
comes
is
in
not Playboy.
All shape and forms. Right. So dad has a word with Elliot, like gives him the old business. Elliot decides, right, actually, I'm actually going to go with Holly's family now and enjoy this vacation. And he leaves the last remaining guy with the RV. And as Elliot's walking off, the last guy that he's left is like, what about all the liberated free women? He's not going to get any. He's not going to get what he's promised. Meanwhile, the jogging RV guy, I believe his name was Jeff, the one who's been fed the green donut in the cop car, he now finally comes across the house, right? The druid lady's house, Miss Guild, Leonore Guild. And he comes across Plant Arnold. And the first thing he does is just go and rip off his bark lips. I'm like, that must hurt.
I would have thought so, but it doesn't
seem to. It doesn't seem to affect Plant Arnold whatsoever.
Well, it seems more like the plant is just growing on top of Arnold rather than growing as part of him, which I thought was the point. So yeah, it just rips off so that Arnold can talk. And then we see, Arnold is like,
you have to
get
get
me out of
here.
here. So Jogger guy is just like trying to drag him along. But obviously it's an entire person in a big pot. It's heavy.
That was a good scene.
He's not going anywhere.
That was a good scene. Leonora, whatever her name is, the druid woman, in my house, then comes in and she says, this might tickle a bit, grabs a chainsaw and starts hacking away at Plant Arnold, and he is just laughing.
He's giggling.
He's giggling, he likes it. Yeah.
Seems alright then, actually, doesn't it?
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Could
now we're back to the family, Josh's family. They're all back at their house. The mum's been at the house the whole time. And the entire sermon lot, the townsfolk, have decided to throw some kind of like weird hoedown in their house and like, eat up, everybody eat. And Josh freaks again, and he starts like walking around the house asking for Grandpa Seth to come and, give him knowledge and tell him what to do. But instead, a troll comes through the window. Mm-hmm. And Grandpa Seth saves the day because he saves little Josh from this troll. Like, I think he chops off its hand.
It's Leonora.
And as it comes back, it's Leonora, and she's back in her house with no hand. But luckily for her, I believe she has 2 massive stones from Stonehenge. She sticks her hand in between them and it regenerates her arm. Yeah. Because Stonehenge, much like Halloween 3, is magical. We all know that.
I'm so sick of Stonehenge being used in everything.
Magical hand regeneration, though, because of Stonehenge. That's not bad.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, little Josh, he has a locomotive cocktail given to him by Grandpa. So that's
locomotive cocktail.
A locomotive cocktail. Molotov cocktail, right? And I thought that's a pretty cool grandpa to give your young grandchild a Molotov cocktail. Do you remember the Molotov cocktail?
I do. I didn't know it was called locomotive cocktail.
Sermon leader, though, he nicks it and banishes Seth back to hell. I was like, why has Grandpa Seth been in hell? What has he been doing in his real life?
Yeah, but then Josh does go, "Oh, Granddad, you're not in hell, are you?" And Granddad says something along the lines of, "No, but..." I don't know.
Luckily, though, with the Molotov cocktail, managed to set the sermon guy on fire before disappearing again.
But also, at this point, so the family haven't eaten in a day and a half.
Yeah.
The whole village has turned out to throw them this hoedown party. And we've got Elliot, the daughter, Mum and Dad, each sat in a chair with plates being handed to them full of food. And they're still not eating. They're just Yeah,
because if they eat it, the movie's over. They're going to turn into vegetation for the goblins to eat. So as I was saying, once Grandpa Seth has set alight the sermon leader, his corpse then reveals itself to be the corpse of a goblin.
Yeah.
Right?
And finally,
and
the
the
rest of Josh's
Nilbog population are
family
not happy.
What the hell is this? Why is there some dusty old troll on the floor?
Yeah. So now the jig is up. The family are aware that Josh has been telling the truth the whole time, and this place, Nilbog, is in fact full of goblins. So the nice townspeople just let the family walk back into their house and decide that, we'll terrorise them from outside the house rather than just following them into the house like we could do.
Yeah, again, they do mention something about we have to wait for a certain hour so we can do stuff. I don't really know why. This film doesn't feel the need to explain anything, so...
Leonora, she's now conjuring powers, extra powers.
From her stone.
From Stonehenge. And is eat these sandwiches or we'll kill you. She's trying to give a sandwich, I believe, to somebody anyway.
I think you're talking about the townspeople.
The townspeople outside the house.
Family
to
eat the food.
Eat the sandwiches. And while the family are inside, not eating the sandwiches.
Of course,
they decide that they've got to come up with a plan on how to defeat the people of Nilbog. So little Josh is like, we need Grandpa. So then Holly's like, but how? Maybe a seance. And then Josh calls her a genius. And they have said seance. But in the meantime, the last guy from Elliot's crew, he is in his RV. He turns on the television, and all of a sudden it's Leonora Guild. And
without the white makeup on.
She's dancing around with a corn on the cob to more Casio sex music, Sex Casio. She comes through the television, I believe, or just comes into the door of the RV.
No, she's like, I am real, come outside.
Sultry Lenora seduces the boy while still holding this sweet corn, gets inside, gets on top of him, and then they double team the corn on the cob. And he's like, I love popcorn. And then loads of popcorn just appears from the air. That was the best scene. Because she's seducing a man with corn on the cob.
Yeah, it reminded
me of green toothpaste
of another film we saw not long ago where a girl is seducing her boyfriend with a platter of cheese and crackers.
What film was that?
I don't remember which one it was. But it was also an 80s one.
Of course.
With a bunch of girls living and the boys come to visit.
Right. Yeah, but what did you make of the whole corn on the cob, Casio
corn on the
sex
cob
scene?
thing? I thought it was very sexy and seductive, and I think I should pull out a corn on the cob later. See how
You will
take
not be
it.
having your way with me. I'm going to be like Leslie in Witchcraft, and you're going to be like David Hasselhoff.
Come on, baby.
Yeah, no chance of giving it up.
Come on.
All right. So they decide to have the séance. The family they get going with the séance. Grandpa Seth's voice comes through, and
this is also the beginning of Josh saying, "Concentrate."
Yeah.
I'm like, but on what?
Little Josh, concentrate on Grandpa.
Okay, on this one I can understand it, but all right. Yeah.
The trolls now come, and they're backed by the adventurous Zelda music again. The music is completely inappropriate to every single scene that it appears in. Okay, none of the music in this film is appropriate to what we're watching on screen.
Nothing in this film is appropriate to anything.
Josh is now asleep, and he awakens at Lenora's, right? And a troll attacks him.
Right, because, Grandad transports him there.
Seth comes again, Grandpa Seth, and he gives little Josh a backpack, and he says, "What's in the backpack? You will know when to use it. When the time comes, you'll know when to use what's in this backpack." Don't use it until you
need it.
Absolutely. So then the little lad Josh, he realises that if he touches Stonehenge,
Seth tells him,
that he's kind of like, he's going to be all right. Meanwhile, the RV lad awakens in a bunch of popcorn, right? Leonora now calls on the trolls, but they all disappear, but then very quickly reappear. That's one of those moments where I'm like, what's the point of making them disappear? If you're just going to have them reappear straight again. They reappear with Leonora in the lair. And at the last second, they're all coming towards the troll and Leonora, towards Josh, who's got his hand on Stonehenge. Mm-hmm. He's like, this is the end of me. What am I going to do? Hold on. I've got Grandpa Seth's backpack. He goes into it. And he says, "Double bologna sandwich." Eating a double bologna sandwich saves him from the trolls.
Yeah, they won't go near that processed garbage.
No.
It's disgusting.
All the family are there now, and they all put their hands on Stonehenge, and it kills the goblins.
No, well, this is like the third time or something when Josh is like, "Concentrate." I'm like, but on what? All you've said is that they need to touch the stone, and then he's like, "Concentrate." I'm like, right, I'm concentrating really hard on Hasselhoff.
Whatever you choose, I guess. Popcorn sex, corn on the cob sex.
Yeah, I don't know.
The loose free women of Nilbog is what I'd be concentrating on.
You'd be concentrating on the image of titty or something, yeah.
Nilbog titty. Nilbog women.
Troll titty?
Well, they're not with the, who is Leonora? Is she quite hot?
I don't think so.
What about when she comes? She reappears as like a hottie, doesn't she?
Yeah, they like I said, they take the white paint off her face.
How about now?
Still not my cup of tea.
Right, got it.
So yeah, the goodness of everyone touching the Stonehenge stones,
and the double bologna sandwich.
Oh, did you also like the bit when Seth, Granddad Seth, he's like, "Oh, this is the last time I can appear," and as he and Josh are touching it.
Touch it.
Clearly, they've green screened Grandad Seth so they can like fade him out because his hand that's supposed to be touching the rocks is just like.
Yep.
And then he goes to reach to touch Josh's hand like this, and they haven't been able to match it up, so it's more like this. Bye, Grandad.
Yeah, that. Maybe that's their secret goodbye. Just see you later.
Bye.
Yeah, but it's not over because as they're driving home, I've written drive home, time for apple. They
get home, yeah. For some reason, Dad and daughter are out of the picture, so it's just Josh and Mum.
Josh thanks his grandpa, and there are weird noises, and Mum is green goo
Yeah,
now.
but already we knew, as soon as we got in there, and Mum goes to the fridge and she takes out a bunch of apples. And she's like, "Josh, do you want an apple?" She starts like munching hardcore on this apple. She's like, "It's so good. Oh my God, this apple is so good." And we're like, "Oh, I see what's going on here." And yeah, lo and behold, she is troll.
She turns into green goo. The goblins start eating her in front of Josh. Poor little Josh is having his mum eaten by goblins in front of him. Yeah. And they're like, "Do you want some, Joshua?" And then he's like, and it ends. And then we get Casio music over the credits.
Of course.
Again, on a scale of 1 to 1,000, how happy that we watched Troll 2? On 1,001.
I'm going to go with like 650 or something.
So that's pretty high. So you love Troll 2?
6.5 out of 10 is love, is it?
That's pretty high. Out of 1,000, 650.
You're so dumb.
Out of 1,000, you only gave 700 for being excited about seeing David Hasselhoff in a movie.
Yeah.
So he's only 50 below Troll, above Troll, should I say?
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good score then.
If you say so.
Would you, on a scale of 1 to 1,000, how likely are you to watch Troll 2 again?
0.
Well, actually, it's 1,000 because we're definitely going to watch it again. So I'd call that 1,001. Would you want to see Troll 1? Before, even though it has nothing to do with Troll 2.
Well, then what's the point?
I do believe there's a Troll 3. Actually, you have Troll. Then there's a movie, let's just say it's called Nilbog. Then Troll 2. So there's something in between Troll and Troll 2 where it follows on from, which doesn't make any sense really either.
Oh, because everything about this film made sense.
Everything about this film made perfect sense in an 80s horror movie about trolls / goblins.
With the worst set of actors you've ever seen.
I actually
in your
had
life.
both trolls and goblins as a kid. I had a goblin in a cage, but I don't have limbs. I only have like 2 arms, and they're a head with 2 arms. So these
What are you talking about now?
these are trolls. You know, you had troll dolls. There are also goblins.
Right.
The goblins in a cage I had. Doesn't matter that your movie's called Troll and the town's called Goblin backwards, does it? Would you move to Nilbog?
No. Why do you always ask such stupid questions?
What if Nilbog was like, sunny California? But it was called Nilbog.
But it's so you're asking if I would move somewhere
the same.
that's fantastic, except that it's called Nilbog. Well, yeah. What's
Okay,
it's called
so
is not going to put me off.
you're quite happy to be a Nilbogian. I wish I was a Nilbogian. And you know what? It does take a mirror to see that, indeed, Goblin is Nilbog the other way around. Nilbog! And then, let's say it again, I love little Josh. Such a sincere performance.
I loved the way that when he was serious and, the director had been like, right, all of you family now just stop and have a look around. He puts his little hand on his hip and goes...
He was great when he was doing that. When he was acting like an adult as a child, he was superb.
It was cute.
Yeah. The only thing that's missing from Troll 2 is just someone from Baywatch being in it, really. And then it would have been stratospheric.
Cody.
11 out of 10. Let's get Cody. Then you're giving it 1,001 out of 1,000.
Cody should be in the dad.
Yeah, I'll try and look up a Cody horror movie for you and we'll get there. Yeah.